Today we're going to talk about my presets that I use in Superior Drummer 3. So I've been asked how I get the sounds that I get from Superior Drummer. I use 3 main kits that I've set up over the last couple of years, one of them being this one. Easiest way that I can show you what I use and how I set it up is if I click on each instrument, up the top here it will highlight what that instrument is. Mainly it's from the Rock Warehouse. So we've got, let's start with the kick drum, and then snare, rack 1, rack 2, floor 1, floor 2. If you also look on the right hand side here, it will show any adjustments I've made to each drum. So we do that again: kick drum, snare, rack 1, rack 2, floor 1, floor 2, hi-hats. Let's go through the crashes. Okay, so that kit sounds like this. Okay, let's bring up the next kit. I'll show you the mixing window in a minute, but it's the same across the board. So very similar kit. Main difference is different snare drum. So the kick drum's the same. Snare is this one. Rack 1, rack 2, floor 1, floor 2. I think all the cymbals are the same. Occasionally on this kit I will change the kick drum out for this one. And this one sounds like this. Let's bring that other kick back in. Here how this one sounds more punchy. And this one's got more of a thump to it. So I would use this one here if I wanted to have more of a crack on the kick, so top end boosted, and the other one more if I wanted low end. And the next kit I use is this one here: kick, snare, rack 1, rack 2, floor 1, floor 2. So the only difference on the cymbals there is the ride cymbal's different. I go between these two quite often. Okay, and this kit sounds like this. Okay, I do have a tambourine here. I never use it. And I do have a cowbell. But if I'm recording cowbell, I will do it on a separate track and then blend it in later on. Okay, let's move over to the mixing window. Like I say, throughout all the kits, the mixing window is the same. I export each drum to a separate track, so I'm not overly worried about levels here. As long as they're not peaking, then it doesn't really matter what they're doing here, because when you come to mix it, it's individual drums. So as long as you've got volume there but it isn't redlining, happy days. Okay, now bleed. The mistake a lot of people make is they turn mic bleed off because it's easier to control volumes, which is right. It is easier to control each drum if there's no bleed. But if you take bleed away, you lose the natural feel of the kit. If you have too much bleed, you can't do a lot with it. So I have a little bit of bleed, tiny amount. So if you look on the right hand side here, you'll see my levels for the bleed. We'll go through them all and then I'll play one for you. On a acoustic drum kit, to control is the overheads. I have my overheads set like this, so we're just soloing out the overhead track here. See here, you have the bleed there, but it's quite low down, which makes adjusting volume so much easier. You can control what the crashes are doing without the rest of the kit being involved. It's like the perfect mic setup. If you could get an acoustic kit to have that amount of bleed, happy days, crack on. So anyway, that is all that I currently use in Superior Drummer. There are exceptions. Every now and again I will use this snare here, which gives quite a nice crisp sound. Especially if you tune it up a little bit. Again, with the tuning, don't go mad with it. Sort of there, I've got it at 0.02. I wouldn't go much more than that ever. And the other thing to bear in mind, on the snare drum, I have random hits turned off. Because the one thing you want is the volume of your snare, you want it to be quite constant. And if you need it to lower down, you can adjust it later on when you're mixing it, rather than it decide when you hit hard, when you hit soft. And that is my setup. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.